It's high summer here and it is hot, and I do not do well in the heat. We're in kind of the upper 70s Fahrenheit range, so we're like 25 to 30 degrees. However, definitely a bonus on our farm is it's fairly high up in terms of Suffolk, and that means it's relatively windy, so there's a bit of a breeze to cool you down. I'm having an issue with the electric door at the moment. It keeps saying it's blocked, although there's nothing being blocked, so I have to hold it manually. Meanwhile, you might wonder why there are sheep in here. And it's because Macduff and Dora are orphan hand-reared lambs, and they have become a bit of a pain on the farm because they just escape from the electric fencing and just wander wherever they want. So I've had to put them in with the chickens. Now, of course, they cannot eat chicken food. That's really bad for them. But the chickens are only fed in there. The sheep do not go through that door, and it contains them. It has been a really busy 2 weeks. We had some work experience placements here on the farm, so that's 14, 15-year-olds coming to experience the world of work, and it was great. They really did help on some of the tasks, and they helped us out loads. But because they're younger, it did take a lot of hand-holding, which meant we didn't have a huge amount of time to go off and do our own things. And then this past weekend, I had 2 markets, so market on the Saturday and on the Sunday. So I'm pretty shattered, to be fair, and just feeling a bit blah and burnt out. As always, I forgot to properly film at the markets, but this is Hellsworth Produce Market, and this is our small local market that not a huge amount of people come to. And this is Devon Events that was held in Woodbridge, Elmhurst Park, which is a vintage and makers market, and it was one that I was trying out for the first time. I talked to quite a few of the other stallholders, and it was actually quite quiet for the normal market, but I still made more than I've ever made at any other market, so I'm definitely going to do it again. The sheep, obviously, by all accounts, hate this weather, as would I, with a woolly fleece on. You can see they're all hunkered down, mostly under the trampoline. I got an absolute shock of my life last night. I came up, I was tired, and I saw that. And from a distance, that looked like a dead sheep. It is not, it's just a duvet that I use to give them some extra protection. But my goodness, did I sprint across this field. Not only are the poor sheep battling the heat, but we've also got an incidence of eye infections. The dry, windy weather means that particles are getting into the sheep's eyes. And also I'm moving them twice a day at the moment, because what happens is you move them into a fresh patch with all that long grass and they eat it off, and then they start pushing their heads down to get the grass down here, and they get poked in the eyes with little bits of stubble. And so we end up with eye infections. So a few of my girls, River in particular, has got really cloudy eyes at the moment where the eye is protecting itself. So she's on antibiotics, in antibiotic cream in the eye, daily flushing of both eyes. So again, on top of Everything else, I'm having to come and move the sheep twice a day. I'm having to do their eyes once or twice a day. And as you know, having sick or ill animals is quite stressful anyway. And when you're, when half your flock is looking a bit rough, it's not ideal. So yes, burnout at the moment is definitely a real thing. I'm very tired, there's loads to do, but I'm a bit useless in the heat. So all I'm doing at the moment is I tend to come up in the evenings. So I come up in the mornings, I feed everybody, and then I don't do anything until about 5 o'clock in the evening. And then I work 5 till 9:30. It's cooler, I feel more productive. But there is so much to do in terms of planting. Hey ladies. Hi. Hi. Another major hindrance at the moment on the farm is water, or lack of water. We still don't have any running water up here. We should have prioritised it, but we also needed to prioritise getting electricity, getting the cabin, setting the business up, and somehow water managed to fall by the wayside. We have IBCs that collect rainwater, and we have a pond that we use a solar pump to pump water across to the market garden. But the pond has dried up, and we have had no rain, and so the IBCs are almost empty. So it means at the moment we are bringing up all of our water from home in 5-litre water bottles and a couple of big camping, roll-on water tubs. And though irritating, that's enough for the animals. We can do it, but it's impossible to water a market garden without actual water that you can run through a hose system. So not only am I burnt out, but our efficiency here is super low, which means more effort, which means more tiredness, which means more burnout. So what am I going to do to get over the burnout? Firstly, I'm going to take a couple of days off. Obviously I can't leave the farm completely because everything needs fed, but things can wait 2 days to be planted. It won't change them. Things can wait 2 days to be built. It's not going to end the world. So I'm going to take it easy. The other thing is I'm going to look at all the positives, because it's really easy to get bogged down in all the crap and stuff that's going wrong. And at the end of the day, if we're running a business, especially if we're on a farm, things are always going to be going wrong. But I have all this lovely wool that my work experience girls bagged up for me, ready to give away to people that can actually use it for something decent. I have a lovely broody khaki Campbell sat here on eggs, albeit not in a pen that's fox-proof, so we will have to take all of these eggs away, otherwise she'll get eaten. But we've got babies on the way. The first chicken tractor is almost done. I've got the wheels on, I've got the tarp on, I've just got to mesh all of this end, buy a couple of hinges for the door, and then, and get some metal panels along the edge at a bit of a skirt, and then the first chicken tractor, actually it's going to be a turkey tractor for my 2 turkeys, is going to be complete. My 2 markets this weekend went great. They were both really quiet, but I made sales on the first local one, and then I went to the big one with the huge table fee. I took £120, so it's about $150. That's my biggest market so far. The table cost obviously reduces it a lot, but it was quiet, it was the Wimbledon final, it was boiling, and I reckon it's a good market to go to in the future. I'm excited to get these 2 beds sorted out and have the sunflowers in them. I haven't finished this bed yet because there is a wasp's nest right down here that I need to eradicate before I start digging around. That's actually the wasp nest that stung Jock and ended up with us having him being really poorly for 2 weeks. His leg swelled up and then it ended up exploding and the skin got necrotic and fell off, and it was all horrible. But he's much better now. The girls are in heat, so it means we can have piglets soon, so that's great. The lawnmower is fixed, so I can finally get on with some massive mowing for the campsite. The campsite has been a bit of a dud this year. We haven't got many bookings, but all could change, so I'm going to get it ready in hopes that our fortunes with that do a U-turn. This year's butterfly raising project has gone really well, and look at all of these chrysalis. Can't wait for them to hatch. And also Oz was really poorly and we were really worried about her for a while. Here she is down here. But we figured out actually she had heat stroke. She doesn't do well in the heat, so now we're using cold towels, we're spraying down the gravel, we're using ice packs, and actually she's a lot better. And the list of positives goes on and on and on. So actually, although there is that feeling of burnout, thinking about all the positives, thinking about all the stuff that we've done, and sometimes just walking around and looking at the fantastic scenery is enough to get over it. And as if I haven't got enough going on, we recently took on some bees, so go and check them out in this video.